Greetings. My name is John Savers. I'm a candidate pro tempore for the People's Party, an emerging party, which hopes to take control of the government of the United States of America by 2012. I've discussed a few items which may strike some of you as radical, but believe me, with the United States in the condition it's in, radical steps need to be taken. And the policies of the past are good for the people who benefit from it, and they can be expected to send forth their spokespersons to say, well, it may not be perfect, but it's the best way of operating government that mankind has ever devised. Some sort of absurd statement like that. We all have no part of that for our own. We have discussed some aspects such as a positive full legal tender dollar currency, national banks, ways to inject the currency promptly into the United States to the people who need it, small businesses, retirees, the welfare people who are hurting, the infrastructure for workers, and a means for the entrepreneurial class to get the money to try to make their dream come true, and if it's a good one, it should happen. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about today as a People's Party plank is that the United States would continue to have a strong Navy and a strong Air Force, but we would cease to go overseas, to have bases overseas and so forth, and we would expect those people who in the past have been allies to take care of their own situation. In Europe, for instance, the people are vigorous enough to take care of their own interests. There's no reason for us to make any particular effort in behalf of Israel. It has like the fourth strongest military in the world, a rather vibrant economy, and so forth. And the Far East is the same way. We would, of course, have our Navy out and about. Which would be important since one of our states is in the middle of the Pacific. But at any rate, we think that we can cut a lot of expense there, and we'd redeploy our military to the United States, to the border areas, so that we can be more assured that friends remain friends, but enemies are excluded. I think that what we need in the way of military would be of a defensive type. I think that Troy was a good example of what is needed. Of course, the reason Troy fell was because they were foolish enough to accept the Greek gift, the Trojan horse, so-called. So perhaps, and I really count this to be almost a fact, the People's Party leaders will be smarter than to take in a gift of the Greeks in that fashion, after that fashion. So we will depart from all that. We can't save the world. We can certainly help the world. I believe entirely in humanitarian gestures of providing excess grain and whatnot, medicines to those who have difficulties, maybe because of nature or for some other disaster, man-made, throughout the world. This is a function which the government, the American government under the People's Party would undertake with our provisions clearly shown to be American and we would expect to regain over time the respect of the world's people for the things that we do. Also, I believe in sharing innovations, whether it be in medicine or whether it be in chemistry or whether it be in manufacture or any other kind of entertainment, any other kind of enterprise. There's no reason for Americans to take a beggar-thy-neighbor approach to blessings which they have received through inspiration or good luck. But these can be provided to those people on the other side, outside the United States, possibly on a quid pro quo basis, to the extent that something might be bartered for something we need in the way of certain chemical elements and whatnot that are not readily available here. Although it would certainly be a better idea to utilize what we could here than depending on some other, from a source external to the United States. In this way, I believe that we could retain a peaceful position with the rest of the world, but it should be borne in mind that the same sort of resident evil that had a touch on America prior to the People's Party and its programs would still be alive and well in England and Europe and elsewhere, and they might be able to engender a war or some sort of attack on America under the guise that American citizens are being inhumanely treated and they must be saved by the world community and so forth like this, which the media would certainly propagandize and TV and whatnot. We would just, of course, have to defend ourselves under such adverse circumstances as deceit. But I think that if we go ahead and make ourselves right and strong on the one hand and share our excess blessings with the rest of the world, that the resident evil which lurks in England and Europe would have a pretty tough go at getting the world community to come against us. So this would be our approach to the military in a general way.